Hi Chris, how are you?
Good evening, Rod. Yeah, I'm really well. Here we are, the 19th of August, 2025. It's episode 186, and a bit muggy.
Not muggy, just grey, I'd say.
We should rename our podcast as Muggy.
The Muggy Cast is it's probably not the greatest title in the world.
Or we could call it Weather With You.
That's an obscure Crowded House reference, perhaps, but yeah, not bad.
Probably
it's fun.
Less obscure. It's their most famous song, I think.
Probably. In my real life, in the last week, I published a podcast with another organisation about sleep, and I thought the irony of going somewhere else to talk about sleep and then having my own podcast as Wake from Sleep was quite good.
Yeah, it's quite good. Actually, I haven't gone back and listened to it. I must go do that.
You don't have to. It's not a requirement. But if you want to see me in my more professional sense, then that's the place to go.
No, but my mate's done a podcast. I should go listen to said podcast.
That's very nice of you, mate. Should we dive on and do our own proper podcast?
Yeah, let's get into it. Should we dive into follow-up then?
Let's do some follow-up. I notice we do a lot of diving in as well. When I edit this, I occasionally reflect on the amount of let's dive into. We do. It's one of those things we say a lot.
Yeah, okay. I might be guilty of that one.
No, I think we're both guilty of that one because I do it in between sections. First story?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so first up, and this is sort of a follow-up on something we talked about in some detail before about how the UK government was kind of on a hiding to nothing by turning off advanced data protection and iCloud data. Well, unsurprisingly, they've walked back on this.
Yes, this is where the UK government wanted a backdoor into iCloud. I'm assuming they were going to ask the same of Google and Android, and it's now officially dead, which is the right answer, but it shouldn't have even got this far.
It shouldn't have got this far. Although the thing that we're going to talk about the UK government a few times this podcast, but apparently one of the things about this was JD Vance, who I think was staying up the road from you when he was visiting the UK.
Yes, I would have flown in to the RFF at Air Force Base, a big American Air Force Base, backup site for the space shuttle to land, apparently, or used to be. Home to the spy plane, got one of the biggest runways in Europe. Apparently he landed there. I haven't seen him. It caused zero impact on my life. I'm all right with that.
Well, it has had some impact because he told the UK government who was visiting here that it was a non-starter, that they were going to allow backdoors into American corporations, basically. So the UK government, according to this article, this one's in Mac Rumours, but it's been on The Verge and all over the place as well, that they're not going to enforce this now. So apparently advanced data protection, you can leave it on your iCloud devices.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, a good thing. Just briefly going back to JD Vance, I did see a story that apparently the publican and bar staff at a bar not a million miles away from you refused to serve him. So
Wow.
I thought, well done, UK.
Wow, okay, interesting.
Anyway, so that's not an Apple story, but this is Tulsi Gabbard is her name, who is, I don't know what she is, she's some official in the United States government, saying that they're not going to enforce this, the UK government isn't going to enforce this, so this is good, yay, move on, yeah?
Agreed, yeah, move on. No back doors, please.
Second element of the UK government potentially not doing backdoors is we talked the last 2 weeks about the New Protection Act in the UK, designed to stop children watching porn. The response by children was to rush off and get a bunch of VPNs. VPNs were seen to be one of the highest moving apps within the UK App Store. So now the government's looking into doing something about VPNs to close that particular backdoor. Now, I've got a take on this. What's your take on this?
Well, what were they expecting? Kids are quite ingenious, right?
Kids are quite ingenious. And again, let's not lose sight of the fact this isn't just about porn. This is about listening to things on Spotify. This is accessing articles on Wikipedia. This is third-party social media places like Reddit.
Anything where you need to be over 18, possibly looking at stuff with alcohol in it, I guess. So it's because Steam often asks me when I look at a game, put my date of birth in. So is that good enough?
Probably not.
In.
You could put anything in. They don't check it very carefully. I mean, I've put in my date of birth as 1915 on that before now. It's pretty unlikely somebody who's 100 years old is playing video games on Steam. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's unlikely.
It's not impossible, but no, agreed. So I'm not surprised by this. If only somebody really sat down and just thought about it before they did it.
But let's think about...
It's going to be like playing whack-a-mole.
Totally. But let's think about the repercussions of this. From my job, I use a VPN to access my workplace. Do you?
No, I don't. No.
Well, not at the moment, but the chances are if you want safe and secure access to your workplace, and lots of workplaces mandate this, then you use a VPN. So quite a lot of corporations do in one way, shape, manner or form.
They are very corporate heavy. I mean, we were working on initiatives to become VPN-less is something I've explored before, which is is quite an interesting thing to do.
That is an interesting thing to do. But okay, so that's one option.
But not for now.
But you would have thought, I don't know, if you're the Ministry of Defence and you've got internal stuff, the chances are you're using some sort of heavily secured VPN.
I'd have thought so.
You know, and us as a university have that, and there's lots of trusted research environments, things like that, make heavy use of VPNs. So this isn't just to avoid porn. This is to get your work done. What are they going to do? Are they going to make any corporation or individual that has a VPN to provide access to their own internal stuff? Or have a proof of age? 17-year-olds can work in these workplaces. What's going on with that? Are they going to, let's follow it through to its logical conclusion. You can't ban VPNs.
Yeah, you can't ban them, but I just don't know. I mean, I guess so you've got different types of VPN, haven't you? You've got like a work VPN, which is you're connecting back to your head office, corporate VPN, and then you've got that app kind of VPN. Oh, look, I've just subscribed to insert name of VPN on the App Store here, and all I'm using it for is to change the country I'm in, for example, or to hide my current location, or to hide my current, I may not want to be fussed about my location, but just hide that the data I'm browsing is associated to me. Yes, so I don't know. Could they do it on type? I guess is where I was going with.
How do you police that? I mean, where does the line end? Because even if you've got, I don't know, WireGuard, for example, is an application that provides access to what you would say isn't a corporate VPN in the way Surfshark, NordVPN, Multivad, companies like that is who you're thinking of, where you change your location as much as anything else. But where does that line end? In a WireGuard client, I can put my ExpressVPN, I'm not trying to pick one in particular, credentials and then connect to it.
Or NordVPN, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's just a protocol with some connection details within it. So you can't police that unless you say, right, anything that resembles VPN, be it Multivad's client, ExpressVPN's client, or WireGuard or OpenVPN or one of those open clients, are you going to have to register that with the United Kingdom government? All this is leading towards something like the Great Firewall of China. And spoiler alert, VPNs can get through the Great Firewall of China. So this just shows absolutely clueless tech legislation again on behalf of the UK government.
Yeah, but one thing to consider is surely most VPNs are a subscription in some shape or form. So does that not mean it's going to have to be sort of, you're going to have bank details to, or a card to pay for it?
Yeah, I think that's probably fair, but where does that live? I mean, what they've shown is that you can provide your credentials in the form of your passport, a picture of your face or whatever, to a third-party agency. And as we talked about last week, who is that third-party agency? Some officially approved resource on behalf of the UK government that you're able to hold credentials, but that will get hacked. And I just think this is problematic all the way down.
Yeah, no, agreed. And like I say, it's a bit like whack-a-mole, because if you then start doing something with VPNs, there'll be something else, and it will just carry on.
Anyway, go away and think about this for 5 minutes, UK government. I suspect you connect to your offices using VPNs as well,
Yeah, you'd have thought they'd be using it, and probably some out-of-date one there in the UK government.
Yeah, but they don't really know what a VPN is. Oh, that's just that thing kids are using to get hold of their porn, is it? No. This is like the two-factor authentication thing or the end-to-end encryption thing. You're not thinking through the actual consequences of this, and it really makes me worry about the advice they get or the advice they choose to pay attention to.
Well, that's exactly what I was about to say to you. Is sure they've got advisors that aren't just there for legislative purposes. Sorry, I struggle with that word. So sure, it must have advisors, proper, really, CTOs, very technical people advising them.
But do they pay attention to them?
Yeah, that's true.
Moving on, and in more good news for Excel and Copilot users, you can now have Copilot directly in your Excel cells to help you out with that equation that you're working on or that formula they're working on. Aren't you excited?
So I was just looking at some, if you scroll down, there's some examples here, and I was just looking at some of those where you were talking. Yeah, I am actually, because I do use Excel, but I'm not an advanced Excel user at all. So actually, I think for me, this could be quite helpful if I can get Excel to do some basic things for me rather than learning, bespoke formulas and what have you. I'm
just going to do this for effect. Really? You can't sum up some cells?
I can sum and stuff, but it's lots of the other things. Like, what happens if you want to do in-string and substring and concatenation and stuff like that? I always forget the syntax. So I'm wondering whether I could actually use something like this to ease my pain.
But how much effort is it for you to go to Google and actually get an answer and just get exactly what the formula does and give you the result?
That is normally what I do. Or I could just ask ChatGPT.
Yeah, but again, as we've repeatedly said, it gets things wrong. And if you've got your, and we've talked before about the issue around cell structure within Excel spreadsheets, that you copy a formula somewhere else. And this particular example given here on the Register article from, I think this is from today actually, on 18th of August, yesterday. Copilot summarizes feedback in a paragraph from cells D14 to D18. So that's fine. That's giving you a range of cells. So you then copy your Copilot command to another cell, and you don't put the dollar string in front of it to copy it all the way down, which is a fairly common thing in Excel. And then it's summarizing something else. And the chances are it's summarizing it wrong because you've copied the formula. We've talked about spreadsheet bleed before now. So A, you've got the chance of the LLM getting it wrong, but B, you've then got user input about getting it wrong too. And I just think this is a potential large problem given how complicated some spreadsheets can be with existing formula. Never mind you not really understanding what it does.
Yeah, fair. Okay. And this is also organisations continue to hold on to Excel even longer now because they're going to be using Copilot to do things for. I just thought it was funny. I was going to avoid using AI in Excel by using AI to look up Excel formulas. That's why I suggested.
Yeah.
OpenAI. I don't know. I'd like to have a look at this because I'm a very infrequent Excel user. So I do wonder whether this would be helpful for me.
The problem is the really expert people who know what they're doing will use this as a shortcut, but the clueless people will use this not as a shortcut, but a means of doing the work. And
like you say, they may not understand it, or there could be unintended consequences.
And I guess the other part of this, and just before I move off, is that you can nest them. You can do Copilot, do Copilot, do Copilot, and then you're calling the LLM 3 times within that, which only increases the chances of you getting it wrong. Because again, there's no actual knowledge going on from an LLM. It's just predicting what it needs to say next. That's what LLMs do.
And then, why is my spreadsheet really slow?
Yeah.
Because every line it's asking Copilot 3 times what to do.
Exactly. And it's dependent on that function working well over your corporate network, to the internet, to all the various pieces within that. Any breaks in that chain, and your probably fairly simple function about, pull me some text strings out of these cells ain't going to work well. All I see here is Microsoft increasingly trying to jam Copilot into more and more things to have a return on their investment, and also to increase your dependence on Copilot. It concerns me.
They are. It's like they're like a drug dealer, aren't they? They're trying to get you hooked, and then they're just going to ratchet the price up.
Yeah, I think they are. I can't remember if we've put the story in this week about the sort of amount of businesses that aren't doing well as a consequence of LLMs. I think it's only 5% of companies are actually seeing the return on investment of putting all their eggs in the LLM basket. So I guess we'll see how it goes.
It wouldn't surprise me. There's a lot of work to do to get people using it and trained and skilled.
Yeah. Something else that's gone well for Apple this time for once is we talked about a year ago now, maybe a little bit longer, about the lawsuit with Massimo. Massimo were suing Apple to stop them including the oxygen sensor in the Apple Watch. It's taken them just over a year. The consequence of this was Apple Watches sold in the United States after sort of 2024, I think it was, had to have the oxygen sensor disabled. This is for pulse oximetry, so you know what your blood oxygen levels are. Massimo had the patent. Apple just were using it anyway. They had a cease and desist from an international trade body to say it couldn't happen. Anyway, Apple, who are still fighting Massimo in court, have come up with a workaround. And now, if you have a fairly recent Apple Watch, you will find that your pulse oximetry is enabled again, but on your phone, not your watch.
Yeah, so it feels you need iOS 18.4.1 in America. A recent Apple Watch that's updated to 11.6.1. So you need an Apple Watch 9 or 10 or Ultra 2. And it feels like they're basically offloading the compute task onto the phone to do it. So it does feel like a bit of a workaround. I'm amazed it's taken Apple A so long. I'm guessing it's compute intensive because it's going to do it on the phone and not the watch. And B, how have they not just paid some money and this problem's just gone away? They've got the money, but I guess they've got a ceiling of how much they're willing to spend.
I don't think it's compute intensive. I think it's just them moving the logic off the watch and onto the phone. I think that's all it is to get around the patent.
Oh, okay. That may make sense.
Yeah, because
it's taken them a long time though.
It has, but I suspect that's what they've probably read the patent very, very carefully. Now the fact that it's gone to court, I presume they'll continue with the lawsuit. But this is literally just to get around whatever the wording of the patent that will say something like calculation for saturated pulse oxygen will be done on the device that's attached to your wrist or something like that. And they've gone, okay, well we can sense it on the Apple Watch, but we'll send the logic to the iPhone to calculate.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, so well done. If you're in the United States, that's what that last update was for, was to bring you back pulse oximetry.
Yep.
I skipped over a story, so I'm just going to go back. Sorry, there was a second Microsoft story. And this is about GitHub being folded into Microsoft proper. So Microsoft bought GitHub in 2018 for $7.5 billion. Actually, doesn't seem like that bad an investment at this point. It has become the place where everybody puts their software, pretty much.
Yeah, it is the de facto place to go, isn't it?
Yeah, and Git is just a protocol for managing your code, doing code commits, version control, all that kind of stuff. You don't have to put it on GitHub, but it became the place, and it was the things, which is why Microsoft bought it. This is a slightly menacing move that the CEO of this has stepped down, and now it will just be entirely a Microsoft product. So that positive attitude to what GitHub was before Microsoft bought it has just taken another knock, and I suspect there'll be a chilling effect on particularly lots of open source projects putting it there, or have they passed the tipping point where I just put it on GitHub now?
Yeah, I wonder if that is the case. It's a bit of a shame. It was quite nice that it was, I think, its own little island, a bit like LinkedIn has largely been. Yeah, I guess we're not going to know the consequences, but I'm assuming it's going to become more Microsoft as time passes by now.
We shall see. I mean, I feel a bit of a chilling effect of this. I've got a couple of repos on GitHub, including the little app I built for work, which does simple digit mentality tests for testing cognitive performance in people. It's on GitHub. It's open. So a couple of our algorithms at work for working in large data repositories are on GitHub. Some of our other software development is on there, and I do worry slightly about the openness of this. That we already know that Microsoft are probably in the background using a lot of the code on GitHub for training Copilot. Which was worry, and now if it goes sort of further within the Microsoft thing, I suspect there'll be a move by open source projects to move to other more open source repositories. But all this stuff costs money. Somebody's got to keep the server spinning, and Microsoft's got deep pockets.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say if anybody's got deep pockets, it's Microsoft, but it's probably if anybody's got deep pockets, it's Apple, and then Microsoft, Amazon. Yeah, the tech brothers all up there, aren't they?
Yeah, Google's pretty deep in that as well.
Of course.
So I think it would be quite nice if we saw some sort of more open billionaires doing this kind of stuff, but I suspect such a thing doesn't exist.
No, sadly not.
No. Moving on and back to Apple this time, they've had a little spat with Elon, once again, not for the first time since we started this podcast, about what's accessible in the App Store. So Elon is planning to sue Apple. He hasn't actually done it yet for not featuring his Grok AI tool higher up in the lists of what apps are available in the App Store. So ChatGPT is there, Perplexity is there, others in the LLM things are. He reckons Grok is, wonderful, great, smashing, and super, even though it declared itself Mecha Hitler, as we talked about not that long ago. Apple claim that, and I thought it was unusual that Apple responded to Elon's thing saying it's not fair by saying, no, our charts are just built from use.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Surely, though, if Apple are doing this off of use, then OpenAI is going to feature a lot higher. It's clearly the one. I don't hear anybody talking about using Grok. You hear lots of people, not so much OpenAI, but ChatGPT is the word, isn't it? Everybody's using that. So it's just low down in the rankings. That's all this is. Elon, make a better product. Come on.
Yeah, I think it's that, isn't it? I don't think it's a great product. I think Elon has tainted many of his brands, frankly. X, Tesla, SpaceX, Grok, the Boring Company. I'm struggling to think of others now because he is part of the brand of that. So I think he's probably struggling a little bit to understand what the repercussions of his choices over the last 18 months to 2 years have been, really. And unfortunately, this is one of those things. And also, as you say, the brand is ChatGPT. People think for that too. And it is interesting in this article from Engadget where they talk about the Chinese AI app DeepSeek reaching the top of the App Store rankings, and that would be off the back of the publicization.
There's a lot of publicity, wasn't there?
Around it being a more efficient model that took up less demand, that was quicker than what ChatGPT had at the time. It floated to the top of the App Store. don't get me wrong, I don't think Apple are entirely blameless here. I do think they manipulate those lists equally. And let's face it, you can pay for advertising within the App Store, which will also boost their algorithm for putting things up there. But I think in this case, I think it's Elon just getting a bit carried away.
Agreed. And you can also tweet your keywords, can't you, and all of that. And I'm guessing there are people that know what they're doing there.
Of course you can. Moving on, we talked about it, I don't know, I think about 6 months ago now, about the Pebble coming back. It had a really stupid name at that point. It was called the Pebble Core Duo, which is very close to an Intel processor from, I guess, about 15 or 18 years ago at this point, possibly longer.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to do the math in my head. Probably about 15 years ago,
Yeah.
give or take. I think you hit a good number there.
It was one of the first processors Apple put into its Intel Macs.
So it is longer than that. It's going to be about 2007, 8.
Yeah, okay, so it's a long time ago now.
It's iPhone timeline, I think.
Yeah, it's about there, isn't it? So they've officially said they're going to be named Pebble Time and Pebble Time 2, which I think is a much better name than Core Duo for the watches. And I think these are quite nice looking little devices, actually. They harken back to what the Pebble screens were and what the watches were back in the day, which are e-ink displays with good long battery lives. They contain lots of things. I quite like them. I think it's quite a nice sort of squared off stylish design. Different enough from an Apple Watch to sort of stand out.
I think it looks way better than the one we're looking at the bottom of the screen. And I commented on you just a couple of weeks ago that I didn't think the design was all that. I think this one's way better. And actually some of those shots look like something you'd see in Severance. I think it looks kind of cool.
I think it is cool. I also think the black and white one has a certain cachet all of its own, with a white strap on it and an e-ink display that's going to last you. It's quite a small screen, so it's not going to get in your way. $149, I think that's not a bad product.
Yeah, agreed. And it's something you can have a punt on if you want to.
Yeah. For $225, you can have the Pebble Time 2. It contains a heart rate monitor, slightly bigger screen. It's color e-ink display, which is quite nice. I think these are nice looking products. If it was in the market for a watch, I'd probably be thinking about one of these.
It's a bit worrying that Pebble 2 says it starts shipping in July. Hopefully it's shipped.
Hopefully so. I suspect it's probably for pre-orders or something like that. Although these are both, I want one. I don't think they're going to deliver to them at any time. But, they're water resistant, 30-day battery life. Pebble were always really good at letting you put whatever watch faces you wanted on there, unlike Apple, who keep it to just what you're allowed.
Yeah, and surely Pebble OS is getting a lot of attention right now. There's a lot of eyes on it. They're doing a lot of work. So that's a good thing as well.
Yep, I like it. It's good. Anything else in follow-up that I've missed?
No, I don't think so.
Should we batter on and do some news then?
Yeah, let's do it.
So first up, did you see this story about how we have a bit of a drought going on in the UK at the moment? Some parts of the country are affected more than others. I believe you are.
Water, yeah, we have a hosepipe ban here. We also have Thames Water running our water, and they are shockingly bad company paying bonuses, but yet borrowing millions, and the public coffers are going to have to bear them out. So, yes, we are struggling for water over here, which is not a shock given how hot we've had the spring, then the summer. We've had very little rainfall.
Yeah, it's been hard, and we haven't got a hosepipe ban here, but everybody's being fairly sensible as far as I can see. Everybody's lawns look very brown, it must be said. But a consequence of this is the UK government sending out an email to a number of people giving some suggestions how they can save water. This is the Environment Agency in the UK. And buried within the statement by the Environment Agency is one of the things UK citizens can do to save a bit of energy is delete your old emails.
Don't forget to empty the trash while you're there.
I just think, speaking of the lunacy of UK government sometimes, this isn't the problem. People not deleting their emails isn't the problem. It's the poor running of our public services, Thames Water being a perfect example of that. Apparently they lose a third of all water through their rubbish system.
Yeah, and they've got leaks, and they're just in a bad state of affairs. But like I say, whilst they were doing all this, they were paying out bonuses to their board of directors, which is just awful.
So a third of all water to houses supplied by Thames Water and businesses supplied by Thames Water is probably an awful lot more than you're going to get by getting some customers to delete some emails off their servers.
Yes, we want you to put more load on the servers whilst we're in a drought by deleting stuff. I mean, those servers are still going to be running, aren't they? That's the reality of it.
They're going to be running, and they're probably not in the UK. They're probably, Google server somewhere in California or something like that.
Yeah, it could well be, or wherever's cheap for hosting.
Yeah, so that's one part of it. The second part of this isn't this the same UK government that was promoting the use of AI across all of the UK and have big data centres?
Yeah, so what do you want us to do? Come on.
So
they're giving very mixed messaging.
They're giving very mixed messages. So I just think this is appalling messaging. At the same time, they're trying to put the UK forward as like the home of AI and to make use of AI. But then also don't use AI for your emails, which, let's face it, don't require a lot of compute.
No, not really. They shouldn't do. But it is a fair point. If the whole world needs to have a cleanse, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing, would it?
Yeah, so just to read from the Register article here. A recent environmental report from French model builder Mistral AI found that generating a single 400 token response, not very large, amounted to a page worth of text using its Mistral Large 2 model, consumed 45 millilitres of water and generated about 1.14 grams of CO2. Not much, but millions of users making dozens of requests each. Very quickly, you're going to be having an awfully large impact on the environment and water in particular.
Yep.
Very poor UK government. Sort your lives out.
Sort your tech out.
Sort your tech out. Your VPNs and everything. Another government agency that needs to sort its life and its tech out is Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Department of Health and Human Services in the United States. So he wants to have an investigation into 5G conspiracies because he believes 5G is bad for you. He buys into the theory that 5G is a government conspiracy to spy on you. So this is what he wants to spend American money on, rather than vaccination programs for children. And this just blows my mind.
Well, why is it that 5G is seen as a bad thing and not 4G?
It was a change in technology. We have it here in this country as well. There are still pressure groups that who are burning down 5G masts in the UK.
Really? Okay,
Yep.
I hadn't seen that. I know it's a technology change, and I think we were going to get rid of 3G over here to free up the frequencies to run 5G and what have you. But it's just weird that people are really grasping onto 5G as being this bad science, I guess is I'm going to call it.
Conspiracy theories are a problem, and this is an article from BBC News that I'll need to remember to put in the show notes about arson attacks increasing on 5G masts. And in this occasion, it's in Belfast, but it's happening all over the country.
Wow!
It seemed to correspond with the COVID vaccines as well, which were containing Microsoft pellets that were going to let Bill Gates control your brain as well. So there's a real problem with the lack of understanding in technology, and I think online behaviour only boosts conspiracy theorists, but they shouldn't be sitting at the top of your government.
No, agreed. And yeah, all we're doing is pouring more fuel on it.
We are, and let's face it, we can't afford it because the water to put the 5G masts out is also going to damage our environment.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. We're just using more. Everything we do, we're just using
more water. Yeah. Going back to a story we talked about in follow up. This is the story that we have put it in the show notes about generative AI. Has spurred businesses to light nearly $40 billion on fire. So that is an awful lot of money, and 95% of enterprise organizations have gotten zero return for their AI efforts. So Microsoft, Google, UK government may be pushing enterprises to make use of LLMs and make use of generative AI. But if companies aren't seeing the return on that investment to their profit and loss fairly quickly, then they're going to bow out and they're going to go back to more traditional ways of working. And it won't matter how much money Microsoft are throwing at it if this is the kind of impacts people are seeing.
I think there's a time and a place to adopt AI for businesses. Sometimes it's early, and sometimes you want to bide your time and do it when the cost has maybe come down and the benefits have gone up. And I think a lot of people have been pushed into AI because it's seen as the thing. Yeah, a bit worrying.
It's a bubble. It's a Web 2.0 bubble. I think there'll be a couple of big winners, and we'll reach a balance point where it doesn't have to go into everything. We don't need it in our Excel spreadsheet, I suspect, but there are some things that we'll benefit from.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting report and a good write-up on it on the Register. Worth looking at. That also
I do like the Register.
It's always been a good website. I like their satirical and slightly cynical view of things. Speaking of cynical and satirical views, do you want to give us an update on Siri's new design?
So Siri, the agent that you all know and love, and I've probably just triggered somebody's, is apparently due to get its new personalised design as early as next year, which doesn't feel like long enough after the catastrophe of last year and partly this year. If they're really going to go away and redo it, they need to get it right, and I'm surprised by this.
This amuses me no end, because that redesign, the Hey Dingus design that would pulse around the edges of it, was one of the reasons lots of people upgraded last year, so they could have that. And I've switched off. I've gone back to the old thing, and they're
like it. I like the animation.
They're already talking about giving us a visual redesign to that, because obviously it's tainted by how dreadful Apple Intelligence is.
Yeah, and this is where they've messed up, is that they've given us a new look, so people think it's new and improved, and then you use it, it's like, oh, it's not new and better, it's just the same old thing with a different animation. And so it's a shame, because I think it's a really cool animation, but they've now tainted it. So I'm not surprised by this. They need a complete reboot. I'm amazed they're still going to proceed with the same name that begins with an S. It feels like they need a different name, and let's walk away from that burning fire. And if the new one's going to be so good, why wouldn't you bring a different name?
Apple has tested making Siri look like an animated version of the Max Finder logo.
Paperclip, Clippy.
Yeah, there's that, but there's also how many iPhone users have no idea what the Max Finder logo looks like because they're Windows users or they're Linux users or they've never used a personal computer.
That's a fair one. My kids haven't.
The Finder logo is going to mean nothing to them. Why would you do that?
But I guess it's a smiley face, it's welcoming, and it's the reason it was chosen to begin with. So, I don't know.
So, speaking of conspiracy theories, when the Tahoe betas launched, the Finder was the wrong way around, wasn't it? They'd redesigned the logo. It was...
is this why?
I just wonder if it was related to that. Maybe that was part of their testing, was maybe the new animated face would be in that. That's copyright Rod, by the way. I haven't seen that anywhere else.
So, what are you saying, though, that they were going to use the backwards Finder logo for Siri, or they were going to use the original Finder logo for Siri, so they were doing the backwards
logo on the
Finder.
Mac, yeah.
Okay.
So you wouldn't associate those two things together, and of course it's a trusted logo, isn't it? The old Finder logo on the Mac.
There's a lot of history in that logo.
I think it's absolute nonsense. Why would anybody have that? Clippy died for a reason. I switched off.
That kind of thing coming back, though, can't you?
Well, LLMs sort of suggest that this could be a thing. I switched off. I had the Wizard instead. I never liked the paperclip. He was smug.
I'm not sure I've ever really used either of them.
Well, there's a choice.
Because it was slow.
Well, here's the thing. I'm an older Mac user than you. On the Mac version of Office that had the Clippy equivalent, you could have a little Mac.
No, that's cool.
It was cool. And of course I picked that on Office for Mac, even though I'll never forgive it for reformatting my undergrad dissertation.
Bring back the Mac business unit at Apple, please.
I don't know. They just make everything in Electron or its equivalent these days, don't they? There's no need to have differentiation.
True. Next
story. We talked about that enough. I can tell you're fed up with that one. You must be excited. Apple are apparently still working on the Studio Display 2.
I'm glad it's still an active developed product in their lineup. Apple got to get better at just doing incremental updates to stuff. You know, I like the keyboards, the mice. They just take so long to change them. And we're now talking about the Studio Display 2. Why are they not doing more in this space? People love monitors. Come on, Apple. Do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an odd thing, isn't it? I have one at work, so I'm now familiar with the Studio Display. I couldn't tell you the last time it was updated. There used to be a whole thing they were updating it. The webcam software, they messed around with it. The microphone's got a little bit better. It's running a version of iOS with bits of it hacked out. You're probably looking. I don't have it attached to this computer.
I'm going to say it's 17.5.
Right, so it's beginning to fall behind the current iteration.
Yeah, 17. Yeah, 17 is the last time it got updated. And we're on 18 point something now. So that's a good 18 months, if not 2 years, really.
Yeah.
It got updated. And it's a shame because why wouldn't you ship updates to it? Like, just maintain it. Like, it's not hard, Apple.
At the same time, it's a monitor that wasn't doing very much, unless there's some sort of new connection protocol on a new MacBook Pro or something that they need to connect, via the Thunderbolt port. What's the benefit? I mean, my concern for this monitor is that they put out something that's not state of the art. What you want in a next generation Studio Display is OLED or higher refresh rate or better resolution.
They should be doing two, shouldn't they? They should be doing something at about $3,000 and something at about $1,000. And that way you've got something for people that buy a Mac Mini and they can put an Apple screen on if they want to. And then you've got something for people buying a Studio and they can put an Apple screen on it. But they're just kind of doing there in the middle. I love my Studio Display. I think it's fantastic. I'm using it now. I'll happy buy another one. But they need to get better at this because you're now showing the Pro Display XDR, which was the first screen they relaunched. But that's like $5,000 and came out in 2019.
Yeah, I mean, it's 32-inch, which is good. I'd say 27-inch is the default now for most
27
monitors.
should be the minimum.
Yeah, 6K, which is better than 5K.
I'd love this 32-inch screen, but it's $5,000.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's $5,000 without the stand, and it's no good to you without a stand. Remember, you got to put a stand on it, and that's another £1,000, so it's $6,000.
The whole thing's stupid.
It's extremely stupid. Even a Visa mount adapter is $189. But back to the point. I mean, that screen hasn't been updated in about 5 years. The studio display hasn't been updated in 3 years now?
2-3 years probably.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's £1,500, which, all right, you got to have an Apple tax on things. But a good 5K display from Benq or Asus or any of the monitor manufacturers, which has the same panel, is probably about £800-900. You can get a good monitor with the same panel in it for that. But Apple intentionally cripple third-party manufacturers if you're using them with their stuff because you can't control the brightness and you can't control the volume and you lose all those extra bits, even though a different monitor manufacturer will give you more flexibility. They might have a higher refresh rate. They'll have more ports on them. They might have the ability to daisy chain onto another screen. So you pay an awful lot of money for the convenience of being able to connect one cable up that charges your MacBook at a reasonably high charging rate, to be fair. But I think it's got to be a lot better. Now that panel is out there, and let's face it, it's the same panel that was in the iMac Pro from 2017?
Yeah, it's an old panel. It looks nice though. The Hue display came out in March 22.
Yeah, cracking on a bit.
It's beautiful though.
Yeah, is it more beautiful than a Benq monitor with the same thing though?
I don't know. I just like it.
Okay.
I just really like it.
Anyway,
I can't explain it.
Back to my original point. You must be very happy that we're about to do a studio display too.
Yeah, I am. I want them to keep going with it. I'd love to afford a 6K one that isn't $5,000 but is more at an attainable price. But no, I want them to keep their screens going because remember the period when they didn't do screens? That was bad. So Apple, can you just keep that going? Surely you've got people doing your next version. Why can't you get all your products just release one update annually on every product? It shouldn't be hard for you as a company. You must have a team doing screens. Get them to do it. I can't sit that on my desk. Look at it. It's ugly.
It's not that ugly. It's a reasonable stand, but it's the same panel. Asus Pro Art Display, 5K, professional monitor, 27-inch. So it's exactly the same resolution. It's got Visa built in. It's HDR 500, the same as the Apple Studio display. It's already got a Visa mount on it. You know, it's got a KVM.
And it's half the price.
And it's half the price. And you've got a KVM as well. So you could plug in more than one computer. You could have your desktop and your laptop plugged into it with all the same standards. Display port over USB-C with 96 watt power delivery.
All right.
Half the price.
It is good.
All right, moving on.
But I still love my Hue display and I can't explain why.
Yeah, all right. Moving on. I just thought this was funny. Somebody, this guy, Bruce Lawson, on Mastodon did the 7 deadly sins in tech. So you can have lust, which is Tinder. You can have gluttony, which is Uber Eats. You can have greed, Amazon, because they have all the things. You can have sloth, lie on the couch and watch Netflix. You can have wrath. X does get very angry about things. You can have envy with Instagram and influencers and them showing you a life you can't possibly have. And you can have pride, which is LinkedIn, which is very boastful, it must be said.
I just put my new job on LinkedIn last night. So there you go. Do you know what? I think it's actually pretty good, the 7 Deadly Sins. I think they've done a really good job of that. It's quite nice.
I really like it. So it made me chuckle, and hopefully it's made a few listeners chuckle as well.
Yeah, it's so well done, isn't it?
It really is. Moving on a little bit, we have a rumour that Philips are about to release a new bridge. I have Philips Hue lights in this house. I think it's a really good product. The bridge is the same age as some of the light bulbs, which must be getting on for, I want to say, 12, 13 years at this point.
Yeah, Philips were early, weren't they? I've never had any of this, and I can't stand here now and explain to you why I've not bought any of these. But it's good that they continue to move it forwards, I think.
I love my Hue bulbs. They're bulletproof and they require the bridge to work. I think you can have up to 100 Hue devices on one bridge. It's only got 100 meg Ethernet connection on it, but it's fine. It's worked with Google Home. It's worked with Apple HomeKit. It works with open source things. You can run in your own interfaces to it through HomeBridge and all sorts of stuff. It's a really great, solid product, Hue. Anyway, apparently the Bridge Pro is in the process of being released, which will have more capacity, so you can have even more light bulbs if you want, and will turn existing lights into motion sensors, which we talked about in the podcast before, but that's really cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think it's fair enough. It hasn't been updated in 13, 14 years. They've supported this product over all this time with continuous software updates. It's been updated to Matter. There's all sorts of things that have come along for the original, back in the day, Philips Hue Bridge. So bring it on. I'm quite happy to keep supporting this.
Yeah, it is good. And Philips is showing, I think they've done a good job with keeping the Hue line going. It's got a lot of respect. It's good.
But you should trust a provider of your light bulbs, surely. I mean, when you come home, you want it to work. And, of course, the odd bulb has gone, and they're a bit more expensive than the average bulb. But it's worked with any smart home stuff I've chosen to bring into it, which isn't true of lots of companies that we've talked about on this podcast.
No, and how many smart home things go away after a period of time, or they turn the service off? We were just talking about Belkin just the other week, weren't we? Yeah. So fair play, Philips, and I don't begrudge them running, a new bit of hardware after all this time. No, agreed.
Something I do begrudge, and I might revisit this a little bit when we come to the media we've watched this week, is apparently DARPA, which DARPA is responsible for the internet. They've done good things. It's not all just military applications, which is the Defense and Research Project something. I can't remember what the A stands for. Agency?
I don't know.
You don't know. Should know. Come on, computer scientists. You should know what DARPA is. So should I, of course. I got most of the way there. Anyway, they run all sorts of things. Like they had autonomous vehicle trials, I remember, back about 30 years ago for driving across the Mojave Desert and all this kind of stuff. So the technology the Defense Department are trying to create as part of their workload has real-world applications. In this case, however, it's about having entirely autonomous aircraft that can go off and presumably bomb people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you see, you're less interested in it now, aren't you?
I am less interested now.
So you've probably never watched about the new iteration of Battlestar Galactica,
Nope.
but they have what they call Cylon raiders in there. So the Cylons are the robots. The whole aircraft is itself a Cylon, and this is what the Register is hinting at in this article, is that you have a piece of fighting equipment that is entirely able to make its own decisions based on the environment it finds itself in. So you give it a mission, it goes off, it does the bombing, it flies back, it can run air intercepts, it can do whatever it likes within that. It's not scary at all, is it?
What could go wrong?
What could go wrong, indeed? And again, I will revisit that. I just thought, given our machine learning experiences that we've had and what we've talked about on this podcast, having an entirely autonomous military aircraft could be great.
That would be also a good name for a podcast. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Maybe that's better than Wake from Sleep. No. Should we do a car corner?
Yeah, let's do it.
So a car corner, first up, you and I have discussed the subscription model a few times for Netflix and Disney Plus and apps. Had you thought that maybe Volkswagen might be part of that?
I hadn't, because it felt like BMW had kind of gone away. Like the whole heated seats thing. So what are VW going to do then?
So VW will unlock the higher horsepower range of your ID series car if you pay a monthly subscription to them.
I don't like it.
I don't like it. Tesla had I think it was another 1,500 quid, and they'd give you more horsepower as a software upgrade. It was a one-time payment, which I didn't hold with either. But actually having to pay a monthly fee to have that higher horsepower, what's the point, Volkswagen? What are you doing?
I can get behind spending some money once to upgrade something. If a lot of work's been done, or, maybe 6 months from now, Tesla, VW, they come up with a way of, oh, look, we've got a firmware update for your car. We've worked out, something new for it that we can do with the existing hardware, and we're going to release it to you. We've spent a lot of dev time on it and invested a lot of effort. I can kind of get behind that. But I'm not a person that likes subscriptions. I would rather buy stuff up front if I could.
So it's £16.50 a month, or you can have a one-time fee for £649, which is attached to the car rather than the individual. So if you were to buy an ID3, pay your £649, you'd sell it on to the next person. In one level, I'm like, oh, this is just like getting leather seats, isn't it? You pay the price and off you go. But I'm not sure everybody would think like that, and they might just pay the month-by-month upgrade. I don't like it. I mean, car pricing is bad enough by thinking, oh, I want a sunroof, which is less metal in my car. That cost me 1,500 quid. Why would you want to nickel and dime me over the upgrades as well? Where does it end? Do you want the car to switch on in the morning beyond what you're already paying for it? That's another 30 quid a month,
Yeah, and a lot of people are struggling, aren't they? And we just seem to be living month to month, and we're just living more and more in a month-to-month cycle, and I just don't think it's that healthy.
I 100% agree with you. And an EV is still seen as a luxury rather than an essential. Somebody who's really struggling but needs a car is going to go buy a very efficient petrol or diesel car. They're not going to buy an EV. And
Nope,
this does not help that. I just think it was interesting in the articles from Also Express about it costs more for your car than it does for a Netflix subscription.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, more just to update have a slightly faster car than your Netflix subscription. Crazy.
Neither of which are essential items, by the way, but still, it's crazy.
I don't have Netflix right now, but I will be getting it soon.
Is Drive to Survive coming back, is it?
We'll pick it up in media if you like.
Okay, all right. Another car company that needs to do better, and actually made me slightly glad that I didn't buy an EV6 or a Hyundai Ioniq 5, was there has been a well-known publicized hack for Hyundai and Kia vehicles where you can buy a box that looks like, I think they call it the Game Boy hack. It looks a bit like a Game Boy from certain nefarious resellers. And then you can just walk up to and drive away with any Hyundai or Kia that you like. It's a well-known security bug, but if you want a Hyundai to fix it for you, it'll cost you another 49 quid.
Yeah, they shouldn't. I'm sorry, what? You're charging me to fix your own bugs. I'm sorry, that's not right.
Yeah, this is unacceptable. This is something they should just come in, get a software update as soon as you can. We'll stop your car from being stolen. That's just what the manufacturer of the vehicle should provide.
Yeah, I can get behind new functionality for I'm paying some money. I can't get behind I'm fixing a bug and you're going to pay me for it. I just think that's bonkers, and this is going too far.
Yeah, so, and just to revisit what I was saying a minute ago, West Yorkshire police arrested a car nicking gang in 2021 and described the device they used to steal the cars as a Game Boy-like gizmo worth $20,000. You don't need to steal very many £50,000 cars to get your, £20,000 back on the Game Boy device.
One car, and you're then 30 grand up, aren't you?
Exactly. Absolute madness.
Yeah, no, crazy. What are you doing, Hyundai?
Speaking of absolute madness, we talked on the podcast, I think, about 3 weeks ago on Ford's new Model T event. It was going to be as significant to the car industry as the original introduction
Model T, yeah.
So it's a 30 grand EV.
That's a good price for a brand new EV.
Yeah, but didn't Amazon already do that with that truck we talked about before for 20 grand? Basic truck, 20 grand?
And it's not coming out for 2 more years, so it could all be pie in the sky. It'll probably come in 4 years.
How is this like a Model T? Trucks exist, EVs exist, cheap EVs exist. You can go and buy a brand new Renault 5 EV for £24,000.
I guess, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
This is garbage, Ford. And also,
we did say if they overhype it, it could end up being egg on their face.
This isn't just garbage, but Ford's whole EV strategy is garbage. We have the Mustang Mach-E, which was a fairly well-received car that they seem to have forgotten about. We have the Ford Explorer in the UK, which is just an ID3, ID4 rebadged with Ford things on it.
Not beautiful.
Where's the e-Focus? Where's the e-Fiesta? They've gone off in a completely random direction, not had their own platform, vaguely played with someone else's platform, and now they're announcing stuff like this. Sorry, not good enough.
Yeah, why isn't there a Fiesta, one of the biggest selling cars in the UK, small cars? Why not? Like, well-respected car. Why is that not it? Same with the Focus. They're two great cars. Make them electrical. Done.
I 100% agree. And on the other side of the fence, and I know we've just said VW is not doing the right thing, VW have announced the ID2, or the concept ID2, which is a Polo-sized vehicle that's going to be less than €25,000. Decent range. I mean, it doesn't need a massive range. It's a small car. That is what a company like Ford should be doing. They should be putting it into the Fiesta, the Focus. 150 mile, 200 mile range, not an awful lot of money. They'd sell bucket loads of them. I bet Volkswagen sell bucket loads of these.
That's one of the better looking IDs I've seen. I hope that absolutely ships, because I'm a little disappointed with the styling on the ID range.
I'm very disappointed with the styling on the ID range. I'm
a big Volkswagen fan, and I'm disappointed with it.
Yep. I still think the new Renault 5 is one of the best looking cars I have seen in some time.
So, in my street the other day, there was a Renault 5, yellow one, brand new, parked up like that. And round the corner came the equivalent Alpine. You know that, because
we talked about it.
The Renault 5, and they both look great. And the Alpine was in the blue, the Renault 5 was in that yellow. Fantastic looking cars.
£24,000 for a good, reliable, funky, attractive little car. What could go? Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope, agreed. That's a great little runaround.
I watched Richard Hammond do a review of this the other day, and he absolutely loves it. He says it's the first electric vehicle he's been in that doesn't feel like an appliance that he'd actually want to buy for himself.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And they hate EVs.
Yeah, that does look cool though. They've done a good job.
Yeah, I love it. So do better, Ford, I think, is the moral of the story.
Don't overhype yourself, Ford.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story, I think.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, shall we do media?
Yeah, we do. And I think I might have touched on this, but I just popped it back in.
Just before you do, though, I mean, to me, it looks like you've got the wrong link in for what you're about to talk about.
Completely my fault.
So Chris is so enamored of the Copilot in Excel story that he's actually put it in for his link here. Okay.
So what I was going to just show you guys was Thursday Murder Club film is coming out on Netflix on the 28th of August. This is the reason I'm going to resubscribe to Netflix, because I just want to watch that one film. So I will buy Netflix for a month. I will watch the film and I'll be happy. And my family will watch a whole bunch of stuff, I'm sure, because my son wants to watch Stranger Things, which I've never seen. And so I'm super happy. I want to see it. I want to see if the cast works. I kind of can see where they've gone with the cast because I've read all the books. There's a new book coming out in September. So yeah, Thursday Murder Club is back and I'm looking forward to it.
So this is a Richard Osman novel that I haven't read.
This is the first one of the Richard Osman's novels that sent him stratospheric. He then did, I think, four novels thus far, and the fifth is coming out. Or he's done 3 and the fourth is coming out. I can't remember which round it is. No, he's done 4 already, and the 5th one's coming.
Quite a cast: Ben Kingsley, Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren. That's not bad.
Yeah, and there'll be another lady, and I can't think who it is. Who's going to play Joy? I can't remember. But the books are fantastic. Oh, that lady.
Who's that lady?
You'll know her.
Do I?
You're always good at spotting well-known people.
I'm just trying to do it from one still because I don't want to get a copyright strike on too much Netflix stuff. I'll let you investigate that. So yeah, okay, that's a good reason to go back to Netflix. That and Drive to Survive. I'm currently not subscribed to Netflix. I may return if there's a rumor that Mindhunter might come back. They might film another series of that, and I'm all in for that.
Celia Imrie.
Oh, Celia Imrie, very good. Yes, she's good.
There you go, perfect. And weirdly, Richard Osman's wife, is actually in the film as well as a smaller part. So
there you go. For me, I have done 3 films over the last week, which I'm very proud of myself for.
Go you.
Go me. The first one, Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Not watched it in years. It's a film from 1991. Even bigger than the original. I think the original Terminator was a very much a B movie is really the way it went. But one of James Cameron's first films really made his name. Stood up. I watched that a couple of months back. I was really impressed with how well Terminator stood up. Terminator 2 stands up incredibly well as well. There's a couple of really obviously cheesy stunts in it, but the miniature work is great. The sort of effects they do on Arnold, no spoilers, as his skin starts to come off as the Terminator again are really good, and it was really pioneering of that sort of liquid metal effect for the other Terminator that's in it. Just a great film. We're all looking good time. Surprisingly long, it must be said. 2 hours and 16 minutes, yeah.
It is a long film. There is a director's cut, which is even longer, by about 10 minutes. It's such a good film. I love this film.
Yeah, it's a great film. If you haven't seen it or The Terminator and you're of an appropriate age and you don't need to violate any UK regulations by watching it or download a VPN, I would thoroughly recommend going off and watching Terminator and Terminator 2. And stop there. There's no other Terminator films. Look no further.
Yeah, I'd concur with that. Terminator 2, agreed it's long. Fantastic film.
It's great. It's non-stop action. It's the cast. Almost all the cast from the first film comes back. Linda Hamilton is fantastic in it. She sort of really plays the part really well of, the traumatized mother, girl next door from the first film who had to deal with all those events and what that does to her, sort of the impact of that. Her child, the Terminator, the psychiatrist who just appeared in the police station in the original Terminator film is back in this one. It's just a terrific film. And in fact, in the director's cut, Michael Bain comes back as Reese as well. Yep. Terrific film. Worth a watch.
It's such a good film.
And
stands up.
Both the critics and the audience agree with us on this. So 91% for the critics, 95% on the audience. If you haven't seen Terminator and Terminator 2, go now and watch them.
Or even if you have, go back and watch it.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed watching it again, I got to say. I gave it 4.5 stars on my sequel app that I'd watched it again, as I track all my entertainment over time.
Fair enough.
An app I did not give 4.5 stars to is Moonraker. A film is Moonraker. So as I continue my Bond watch, I'm towards the end of the Roger Moore era here. Moonraker came after The Spy Who Loved Me. I enjoyed The Spy Who Loved Me. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. Moonraker is the immediate film to that. I did a bit of reading after this because looking at the time it came out, which is 1978, I think I want to say, 1979. 1979 Moonraker came out, and it's clearly a panic on behalf of the producers' reaction to Star Wars. Space films are going to be a big thing. Quick, let's get Bond into space.
He should have gone to space.
He shouldn't have gone to space. Or if he had gone to space, I mean, he almost went to space in You Only Live Twice. Connery was almost in space in that. He certainly stepped into a capsule. This is not a great film. I mean, there's some fun moments in it, and there's a couple of really good set pieces.
Has it got Jaws in it, though?
Well, because it followed The Spy Who Loved Me, didn't it? So Jaws was in that, and you had the wine-drinking guy on the Italian beach is also in this as well. He shows up as the same wine-drinking guy in a piazza in Venice. So there's lots of callbacks to The Spy Who Loved Me, but that sort of goofy slapstick stuff doesn't really work so well in Bond. I didn't mind Jaws coming back. He's got a girlfriend this time as well. There's one really good sequence in Rio where they're on a cable car, which...
Yep.
When you think back, makes no sense. Why Jaws bites his way through the cable makes no sense whatsoever. And also, how is his jaw strength so good? I understand he's got strong teeth, but you need pretty impressive jaw strength to cut through a steel cable.
You need all of it, don't you? So, yeah, I'd agree this isn't the best.
Anyway, it's not a great film. 59% from critics, 43%. Clearly a rushed reaction to Star Wars or something going on there. Not a great film. Roger Moore is even more handsy than Connery, if that's possible, frankly, in this film. It gets a bit creepy, it must be said.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to the Timothy Dalton couple of films because I like those.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
I'm worried you're not going to like them,
But
though.
just to finish off, I also did For Your Eyes Only, which is the follow-up, and should have been the film that followed The Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah,
Much better film. Not perfect, but far more grounded, better performances all round. A far stronger female character who actually stands her own up against Roger Moore. 69% from the critics, 64% from the audience. Far better film. Better stunts, well done. Bit creepy with the sort of younger younger ice skater character that's in it, but actually he stays away from her or does his best to do so, which helps. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed For Your Eyes Only. Better film than Moonraker.
Good. No, it's good. I like most Bond films, I think it's fair to say, and I'm happy to watch it if they're on, but yeah, they have made some missteps. But no, it's good. For Your Eyes Only, I like that one. I like the groundedness of it. It's back to where, From Russia with Love was, or something like that. It suits the character better to be actually they're doing spy stuff and not having ridiculous laser beams and all that kind of. First film of the 80s as well for that.
Yeah, so I have Octopussy to go in the Moore era, and then the one after that's in San Francisco, View to a Kill, and I'm done with Roger Moore.
View to a Kill was one of my favourites. So Man with Golden Gun, A View to a Kill, and The Living Daylights. That's my trifecta of Bond films.
I think the only good things about A View to a Kill are the soundtrack, which is terrific. Duran Duran did View to a Kill. It's got Christopher Walken in it, who's fantastic in everything he's ever in, and Grace Jones.
Christopher Walken, though, what a baddie.
And Grace Jones. And I meant to say, actually, during Moonraker. Moonraker has the worst theme tune of any Bond film so far, even though it's Shirley Bassey coming back for a third time.
Wow, okay. It's not good, is it?
It wasn't great. It really wasn't good. I might be overstretching that. I don't think You Only Live Twice. No, You Only Live Twice was good. It's Nancy Sinatra. I'm paying far more attention to the details this time than I ever did. But anyway, Moonraker, skip.
Understood.
If you're an Alien fan, however, something that might not be to skip is the new Alien Earth, which is streaming on Disney Plus now. First 2 episodes are out. I've watched the first one. This has my attention for a couple of things. I quite like the Alien universe, although, as with the Terminator films, the only ones really worth watching so far have been Alien and Aliens.
The first two.
Yep. So Ridley Scott and James Cameron again are the ones to watch. This has been recreated by a guy called Noah Hawley, who is a bit of an auteur, really. He also did the Legion TV show and a couple of other things as well. And he is terrific. He's really got a vision for stuff. This is set 2 years before the Ridley Scott Alien film, so the technology in it is very like that. It opens on a ship that's very much like the Nostromo from the original Alien. There's replicants, there's cyborgs and hybrids in it in the same way there was Ash in the original film. It's really interesting. It's got an interesting vibe. It's got an interesting story. It's really quite creepy. There are more aliens than just the alien in it that you get right from the offset. He doesn't mess about and gets you into the action. And it's called Alien Earth because a ship full of things like the alien land on Earth, and that's probably not great for Earth. Yeah, interesting. Thoroughly enjoyed the first episode that I've watched so far, and the critics are with me on this.
Sounds too scary for me.
It's really bloody scary for a TV show. I will say all the money is on the screen. You know, you look at an Apple show sometimes and you say all the money's on the screen. All the money's on the screen in this. There are some surprising co-stars as well. So Timothy Olyphant is in it. If you watched Justified, Timothy Olyphant he's a terrific American character actor who's been in a few things. He was the Hitman in the Hitman film as well. So he's in it. But also Aid Edmondson pops up in it too, which I was really surprised.
You said somebody I recognise.
Yeah, Aid Edmondson is in this, as is Michael Smiley, who is another sort of British character actor that occasionally pops up in things. He was in, the Bad Sisters as well. He played the guy across the road in Bad Sisters on Apple TV Plus. If you watched that, good Irish actor, Northern Irish actor. Yeah, Alien Earth. If you're into the Alien franchise, check it.
Yeah, too scary for me. I'm going to take a hard pass.
That's it for media. Should we do games?
Yeah, I'd like to circle back to the Bear when you finish season 4. It'd be good to get your view about that.
Oh, have you done season 4 now?
I might have done season 4.
Oh, wow, you blitzed that then.
Yeah, it was a bit of it. They're quite short, some of them, so I just got into it. I really enjoyed it.
It's a great TV show. I've watched the first 6 episodes of season 4 and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, it's so well done.
All right, we'll come back to that. Games then. Very quickly, you bought Donkey Kong Bonanza last week, I think, and you played 5 minutes of it. I bought it this week for too much money, it must be said. I don't know what to think about it. I'm not terribly impressed so far.
Have you got past the first bit?
I'm still in the sort of caves with all the monkeys and the bananas.
You need to get out of that bit,
okay.
And then it's basically you're doing Mario Odyssey with Donkey Kong.
I'll stick with it then. I mean, it's okay.
I pulled the same face as you. I was like, what's all the fuss about? I'm bored. But once you get out of the cave and you get used to the mechanic, you're then doing Mario Odyssey where you're doing lots of little puzzles and stuff. And it is Mario Odyssey with Donkey Kong. That's all it is.
Okay, well, I like Mario.
It's way better. But I thought the start was odd.
It is odd. It's. I don't think the graphics are that great. I'm not that impressed with the setting at the moment. I mean, it's okay. I quite like the destructible environments, but there's sort of very clear limits on how far you can go with the destructible environments. And the whole just smash the buttons and wreck everything in sight thing isn't really doing it for me at the moment.
No, so you need to get out of there, and then it gets more interesting.
Okay. I have thought of a second game I just wanted to mention as well while I was on the Switch. Tetris 99, which is absolutely worth checking out if you ever played Tetris.
I haven't played that one, so maybe I should give that a go. Well,
you should, because as a Nintendo Club, whatever the subscription service thing is called, you have it. It just comes as part of that. So you don't need to buy anything. The sort of conceit of it is it puts you up against 99 other people also playing Tetris at the same time. So when you finish a bunch of rows, it goes on at somebody else's screen and you can knock them out. So 100 players start, you sort of matched up with one person at that point. When you beat them, you're matched with a second person.
Okay.
And you go down from that. Down. Yeah, so the highest I've got is 48. Yeah, I like to think I'm okay at Tetris. I'm clearly not like a 14-year-old or 7-year-old child who's amazing at Tetris, but it's really good fun. It will get you. They're quite quick games. For me, they only last about 5 minutes. And it matches really quickly and you get on. I was really impressed with it, so check it out on the Switch.
Okay, no, that's good. I'll give that a go. I must confess, for me, though, Donkey Kong got me using my Switch and really enjoying it again. So I think if you've got a Switch too, it's worth checking out. It's an expensive game. It's 60 quid, but I've actually quite enjoyed it.
Fair enough. Should we do a fairly rapid main show?
Yeah, let's do it.
So I've got nothing to put on the screen while we're here. So
go to apple.com.
Apple.com. So we thought we'd talk a little bit about our experiences of the betas so far.
Yeah, and that's fair. Because we're on beta set. If you're on the developer betas, we're on, I think, beta 7. If it's public beta, it's 4.
I think so. But they came out more day and date, didn't they? Beta 7 and public beta 4 came out yesterday.
Yeah, unusually on a Monday. I might switch now to the public betas, I think, because I just think they might do less login and have less stuff turned on.
I don't think they do. I think it's exactly the same beta with a different version number, because why would you maintain 2 different code bases like that?
But I wonder whether it's just some flags set to do more login and run slower and drink more battery.
I don't know. I don't think it makes any difference whatsoever.
Okay, well, let's get into the betas then. So what are you running betas on?
Okay, I am running betas on my iPad and on my main work Macintosh.
Ooh.
So I've gone all in on Tahoe, it must be said, and I tried the beta on the phone, and it caused me no end of pain, so there was no way I was going back. So let's talk about the phone first. So my experience of the phone was bad. The battery was horrendous. The device constantly ran at blistering temperatures, and it failed to connect to cellular networks in other countries. So that was a pretty big no-no for me. Now, that was up to beta 2, I want to say. And at that point, I gave up and I rolled back to iOS 18. So I'm happily on iOS 18 at the moment. So I will now shut up and let you talk about the current iteration of the iPhone beta.
So battery's bad, tick. I think it's got better, but still bad. That could just be my 2-year-old phone. Other than that, performance seems okay. I've not had really any major showstoppers that you've had, though. I guess I'm getting used to it now. My brain is slowly starting to get used to the search bar being at the bottom. I do occasionally have moments, though, when I go to a screen and I don't know where I am. Like sometimes you go to Safari and the address bar's really, really small. And I'm like, where's the address gone? I can't quite see it. And my brain's going, I don't know what to do. I've picked up a phone, I don't know what to do. This phone that I've used for 15, 18 years even at this point. And I find that on a few screens, I think, at the moments. There are some glitchy bugs. I still don't get the whole gradient thing that they're trying to do. I just find that sometimes confusing. I don't think I'm loving the overall design, if I'm being honest. There are some nice bits in it. I get bringing the search down the bottom, but I don't like that when I scroll, like in music, all the icons on the tab bar going to one icon, I have to tap twice to get them out. That wasn't causing me a problem before. So I think that where they're hiding more stuff, I don't like. I do like they've spent some time like on the phone app and they've dealt with some some aged app there. It doesn't look really old now. I don't like that the Photos app now has got 2 tabs in it. That wasn't causing me a problem before. I quite liked what they've done. I got used to it after a year. So I think there is some good functionality in there. I just think they've hidden too much. Like the camera app, why have you hidden all this stuff? Just show me the controls. So curious to see how they badge some of this. But on the whole, I think it's okay. I think with people like my son who watch a lot of YouTube, they've got to overcome the bad press, I think, because there's quite a lot of that out there. But on the whole, I think it's okay. And it will launch, and there'll be bugs, and there'll be issues, and they just keep pushing on at it. That's what they're going to do.
I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head in the sense that it's a bit isn't it? All right, they've done a redesign. It's going to annoy people. I don't think you'll have the same amount of reaction that you're getting from developers who actively hate the design. I mean, it was interesting following Steve Troughton-Smith today talking about iOS. This beta 7 has destroyed all of his designs. He was ready to go. He saw the direction they were going in. He had all his visuals ready for liquid glass. And they've walked back on a lot of the sort of hard corners and transparencies and everything that's causing problems within the interface.
Okay, because I hadn't really noticed any difference on Beta 7 as a user.
But as an app developer, he spotted all sorts of issues that Beta 7 has brought along, which obviously you wouldn't see at the moment because you're only seeing apps designed for iOS 18 and Apple's apps.
Yep.
So you're not seeing what developers are seeing to put it in there. So I think there's going to be a massive problem here unless they walk it back. This design, what we've got now, is closer to what they released with the original beta and beta 2. So all the sort of affordances and things that they've tried to make things a bit more legible and the rest of it, they just walked back with it. And it's interesting, as we look at the web page here, that's the design that Apple said they were going to release, and that looks like that's the design that Apple are going to release. So get used to it, folks. So all that oddness with the camera, hiding things, transparencies, backgrounds bleeding through, illegible text are just going to be what we're going to have to live with. As depending on unless the public go mad and just refuse to install it, I think this is what we're going to get. I don't think the public will care. They'll get used to it. They got used to iOS 7. They just, it's the new cool thing. Most people will think. They're not looking for the bad press. So I do worry about developers' reaction to this. I feel like new cool stuff is being forced down the throat of developers, and they'll just got to suck it up. And that's kind of Apple's attitude now. Nothing else has really changed within the system. It's funny as I look at this. All the things they're talking about in here, I don't need things to get out of the way of my content. I was happy with the way it worked before, and you hinted at that as you were talking there.
Yeah, everything's just hidden, and everything's more taps, and the screens have got bigger. And yeah, I've got more room for controls. I just want to do stuff with the content. So I think I found it slightly more infuriating. It's just not a design. I was really looking forward to a fresh design. I usually get behind it, but I've been really disappointed with it, I think.
I'm with you. I have seen a couple of rumors that this is all building towards Apple giving us a completely transparent phone, like the phones in The Expanse. I don't think you watched The Expanse, but it's a science fiction show set about 100 years in the future, and everything, all the devices in that are completely see-through. They've no backs. When they hold up their phones, you see right through them. And this, they think, is sort of I'm not sure about that. I don't think you need some sort of contrast for what it is that you're looking at. But, I mean, it's a cool tech demo, and that's maybe what's influenced this. But, yeah, I struggle with this design a little bit. We'll just have to get on with it. But I think Google are going in a far better direction with their design than Apple are.
But even the screenshot you're showing there of the clock on the home screen with the default wallpaper, the time looks hard to read.
Yeah.
I don't know, sadly. There's some nice additional functionality within some of the apps and things. But on the whole, I think it's just massively frustrating to use. And it's annoying because you'd have thought if they were doing this, they would have started it years ago internally and really refined it and really thought about everything. But they haven't. It feels like they've rushed it through in 6 months and chucked it upon us.
It's like, yeah, exactly. They've chucked it out, be grateful we've given you something new. And I don't really like the attitude. And it's the first time I've gone back, having gone back from a beta to what was there before and not missed anything, actually. In fact, preferred being back because there aren't many new features that I'm looking forward to. All it is a visual refresh. We'll talk about it in macOS as well. The icons look worse now. Things look worse now. The transparencies are bad. Things are hard to read. They're obscuring things behind menus. I don't think it's a great advance.
I don't think it is. We're just hiding more stuff when, like I say, our devices do more than ever, like bring it forwards. I don't get the need. As you can see messages on the left-hand phone. Why can't we have the toolbar back? I hate the way my messages go behind your name and your picture. I was quite happy with the toolbar before. It was fine.
Yep, I'm with you. It's bad. Something that's good, though, ignoring the visual refresh, is iPad OS. The amount I've used it for multitasking and windowing, which, let's face it, are the sort of standout new features that come to iPad OS, that is good.
Yeah, 100%. I've got it on my iPad. I'm using it. I've had a couple of hard crashes when I've watched a video, tried to launch the camera at the same time. But on the whole, love what they're doing with iPad OS. And I've just started work this week. I'm using my iPad all the time like I used to. And I'm really happy that I'm getting to use it and enjoy using it again. So I think they've done a great job. I think Thursday, Friday I'm at home. I'll be plugging into my studio display and I will be trying out iPadOS 26 on 2 screens, which I haven't really done yet. So yeah, looking forward to it. But I think they've nailed a lot of it. I think the design works better on this device than on the iPhone.
I'm not 100% convinced about this. I mean, every time I see all these completely transparent things, I just think this is a disaster. If you've got a fairly light coloured wallpaper, I mean, this is contrasty in this particular design that we're talking about here, so it kind of works. But have you tried it with the transparent icons?
I don't understand why they exist.
Give it a go. It's really difficult to use.
Yeah, I don't. They've never appealed to me. I think they're stupid.
Because it's glass, isn't it? It's liquid glass. So all this, and for listeners, not viewers, you scroll 3/4 of the way down the web page before you get to them actually talking about something that's useful in the operating system, and that's fixing the multitasking, and it's genuinely useful.
Yeah, and it's really well done, I think, to be fair. It's very powerful if you want it to be.
Yeah, my only criticism, and I've talked about this before, is that they've brought the maximize, minimize, close window gadgets from the Mac, and they're minimized to begin with. You've got to tap it twice.
Yeah, that's a bit rubbish.
It's unnecessary. Just make them full size.
Agreed. And on some windows, the close window button is on the right, not the red traffic lights, but if you've got like a pop-up, the cross is on the right to close it. Put them all in the same place. Like, let's think about this.
Yeah.
So there's a few things like where they just haven't thought it through enough. But on the whole, iPad is a win.
I think it's an improvement. Let's have a few more multitasking and keeping things running in the background type features. So if you're doing your export from Final Cut Pro, that's apparently going to work. Great. Bring that to more things. Give us multiple audio inputs. Give us multiple camera inputs. Make it more of a computer, Apple, and we'll be happy campers. And while you're at it, give us virtualization and let us run Mac OS on there if we want to also.
Yeah, that seems dumb at this point.
And then I'm done. I'm happy. I will actually concede that the iPad is a computer, and you can crack on and do what you like at that point. But it's better. For me, if the iOS is a C, maybe a D, this is an A for me. Well done, Apple.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Functionality-wise, fantastic. They've smashed it.
Yep. The Mac, which I've probably used more than you in its beta form.
Yeah, I was going to say I've used it, but not in earnest.
So my very quick comments, I'm conscious we're going to go long otherwise, is that, it's all right. I can't get more excited about than that. I don't like the design. It's particularly problematic in apps like music, if that's what it's called these days. It's called
Music.
Apple Music. If you've got content behind the play button or playlists on the left-hand side with album art behind it, it can be really difficult to distinguish what is the menu you're looking at and what is the blurry mess that's your album art behind it. The design does not work well on Macs, I don't think. It's iPad first.
The corners have got too big a cornering on it now, and it doesn't make sense. The whole transparency thing, I just don't know why we're doing it.
Yeah,
I just don't really understand why it's there. Nobody's asked for this.
I mean, it's sort of typified for me in Control Center, if you bring that down. Why are we messing around giving us very round, lozengey sort of widgets on the Mac when you've got the complete disaster that is the settings app that needs redesigning? Give that attention, not this.
Yeah, why are they're making the targets smaller to click. I get they want to use the same corner radius, but I think it's a too aggressive corner radius.
And they have gone back on a little bit. Safari was appalling before. I've been trying to force myself to use the default apps because it is a beta rather than installing things to fix it. Safari looks terrible. It's too rounded. All the apps look terrible. The icons look terrible. The new things that they're bringing along, we've talked about this before, I won't go into it in detail, isn't great. Apple Intelligence adds nothing to my Mac OS use.
No, I'd agree. I haven't used it on the Mac.
Absolutely nothing. So you're not giving me much on the Mac other than a slightly new design that I don't like. But with that, you're also bringing the new and improved Spotlight, which I had high hopes for. I haven't installed Alfred, which is what I typically use, in the attempt to give Spotlight a fair crack of the whip. So it gives you the ability to search within folders. It gives you a clipboard manager. It gives you just like a replacement for a launch control. I think it was. I can't remember the name of the app. I think it's Launch Control. A little app that would give you like an overview of all the apps installed on your Mac, and you could just click one and go. Some people use that apparently. I use Spotlight. Launchpad. That's gone, but you can search within, if you do Command 2, I think it is, on the keyboard. So now Spotlight isn't just Command space, it's Command 1, Command 2, Command 3. Once you invoke Spotlight to be able to go to those things with it. The clipboard only stores data for 12 hours, which is really blooming annoying if you've got a laptop and you've got lots of things copied to the clipboard. So the clipboard replacement isn't good enough. Search is even worse than I remember it being. I can be in a folder looking at the file that I want to find, on my local hard drive, type in the name of it, and it won't find it.
Yeah, that's not a good look, is it?
No, the exact name of the file with an extension, and it won't find it. And that is unacceptable.
Yeah. I can't believe they've redesigned all the OSs in 1 year. I think they've made a mistake here because they've not finished the new features that you were talking about. They could have shipped separately.
Yep.
New design could have come later, could have come as a point update.
This Apple Intelligence caused them to miss the goal by 3,000 miles is the problem. I think it gave all their attention last year when what they should have been doing is focusing on this design and implementing it properly.
Yeah. Or slow it down. Go slow. There's no rush. Nobody's asked for this.
No, they haven't asked for this. And meanwhile, things that need attention, settings on Mac, for example, all the things we've talked about on iPhone, aren't getting it, and they're the things that matter. I don't need a redesigned mail icon. I don't need a redesigned hard disk icon. I need settings to work in a more consistent way. There is a really odd bug, and it's a beta, so I won't get too irritated about this, where occasionally you'll be typing away in an app and it will just lose focus and randomly pick an app to the background. That's incredibly annoying.
That's not good, is it?
No, I mean, I was in a flow today. I was typing paragraphs and paragraphs of a paper I was writing. I lost maybe 3 sentences because I didn't have my headphones on. I've got the Mac muted, and it's there going beep, 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 and I'm just typing. I was dealing with something not good enough.
I turn off all computer noises. Don't have any of them.
So you probably have tvOS betas installed.
tvOS I do. They've done nothing to tvOS really, but I do have it installed just to play with it. It's fine. That's it.
Where is that on this list of OSs, by the way?
It's so far down their list of stuff they care about. They've got no page for it. But no, tvOS 26 is fine. They've just brought the icons along and some of the iconography. They've really done nothing.
I worry that tvOS is a forgotten thing that they don't care about.
Again, though, they should have people on it all the time. Why are they? If it was a solo person working on it, you'd see more coming out of it. I don't get why they're so slow to do anything with it.
Yeah, tvOS and I guess it's HomeOS. What's installed on the HomePods?
Yeah, I've installed it, but it's made as with the last 5 updates to my HomePods, I don't think I've noticed any change.
This isn't good enough. This is approaching Google levels of start a thing and forget about a thing.
Yeah, it is disappointing because I love my TVs. I don't. If Apple TV went away, I don't know what I would do.
Well, you just use the crappy built-in apps that are built in your TV. And unfortunately, this is the way that it's going.
But they'd all be different on all the TVs because they're not all the same make. It drives me mad. I love Apple TV. I really want it to exist.
I mean, it's an okay platform. It is my platform of choice as well because I don't get the scummy advertising that Amazon or Roku put into things.
And all your TVs work the same way. So I've got 3 Apple TVs. Done.
And again, I'm an Apple TV user, so I'm down with this. And I have tried a lot. You haven't. I have tried a lot of the other alternative platforms, Roku and Amazon and Google. And I've even rolled my own. I've used, I can't remember the name of it, but there's something on a Raspberry Pi I was trying for a while as well. But for that consistent user experience, it's fine. But really, it hasn't changed in 10 years, has it? It's exactly the same grid of icons. It's had none of the affordances that the other devices have had. Might be a good thing in some ways, actually. But the apps within them are, A, still very limited by what Apple will bless you to allow you to have on there, other than, giving us tail scale and VPN apps and things like that, which I'm sure lots of people in the UK are appreciating at the moment. For whatever reason, you might want a VPN on your TV. But it's not driven forward. If we remember in the Steve Jobs autobiography, he said he'd solved TV. I don't think they're fixing Steve's dream by doing this.
No, not at all. They've just stuck apps on a telly, which is good. It's what we needed. But they've just done so little to move the ball forwards. It's like the iPad was. It took so long to get traction on the iPad that it feels like they've missed the boat.
I suspect the problem is that people do just use the terrible apps that come with their TV. And if they can get Netflix on their TV by just pressing a button on the remote, they're happy.
Yeah, I guess so. But you'd have thought Apple with... however many billion people have got iPhones, it'd be an easy upsell. Look, for 150 quid, you can make your TV work like your iPhone. You love your iPhone, why don't you love your TV? Boom, here you go.
Other than me, how many people do you know have got an Apple TV?
One, because you had one of my old ones.
Right, so one person out of your whole circle of friends.
Yep. It's bad, isn't it?
And I'm similar. I can think of 2 people maybe in my whole circle of friends who've got Apple TVs. You and a guy I convinced to get one years ago.
It's bad, isn't it?
So why would you waste engineering effort on that if you don't see a return on investment? So I can kind of get it from Apple's point of view. But if it's a product in your lineup, keep it updated and working and
keep
moving.
Moving the puck forward. Just keep moving it forward.
Maybe they'll find something that would sell it to everybody.
Apparently we're going to get a new Apple TV this year.
Why? It doesn't need to do anything other than what the current thing is. Make the software better. The hardware's fine.
I agreed.
I mean, maybe you need upgraded hardware for 8K TVs, but I don't see a lot of them on the market.
Agreed.
Right, we've gone long. I think that sort of... Hang on, what's your rating then for... my rating for macOS, I think, is C minus.
C minus. Mac. I can't really comment on macOS. I'd probably give it a B just because I've used it so little, but I'm disappointed with it.
tvOS?
They've done nothing.
D.
C. I mean, they've not made it worse.
It's a failing grade. If they've done nothing, it's a D. It's a failing grade.
But am I happy they've done nothing?
I think you got it. Come on.
We go D.
I think it's a D. Of nothing, Chris and I might do a tier rating of some products in the next couple of weeks if the news remains so slow. App of the week.
Yeah, do it.
App of the week is a thing called Infuse. You get it for your Apple TV because I thought it would be appropriate to have an Apple TV app after all that. I run a Jellyfin server. The app to access Jellyfin, which is an open source project like Plex, is adequate but not great. It hasn't been updated.
That's fair.
It hasn't been updated in 2 years, so I went looking to see if there were alternatives that were sort of a bit more... Basically, I was struggling to stream some content of mine. It was a 26 gig copy of a Blu-ray that I have that I'd put on my Jellyfin server that the Apple TV was struggling to decode in time. Everything, if I ran it through a web browser, it was fine. So I knew it was specific to the Jellyfin, the SwiftFin app on the Apple TV. So I went looking for something else. This cost me, I think it was £8 for a year subscription, or it's £99 for a lifetime subscription. It works perfectly. It will play anything on a NAS server that you've got kicking around. It works with Jellyfin. It works with Plex. It works with all sorts of other things as well. I've been really impressed with it. It's called Infuse. I'm not the only person that likes it. The the ATV guys like it as well. ATP guys like it as well. So I'm quite impressed with Infuse.
It's got quite a lot of ratings as well, so it's obviously doing a good job.
Yeah, it's a well-done app. It will let you do things like download your Jellyfin content to your device as well if you want to pick it up and take it with you on holiday as well, which could be quite important.
That's quite cool.
Yep. So Infuse is my recommendation.
Cool.
Thing of the week.
Thing of the week. So I've put some computer random in here because I saw this earlier today. It's just a news article on BBC News here in the UK, but in Sweden they are moving a church. They're moving a church that's over where they've got a mine. They're moving it to the other side of the city. I just think this is awesome. They literally picked up a whole church rather than demolish it and are moving it. And there's a news channel in Sweden that's following it, for the whole 2 days it's being moved. It just completely blew my mind that they've done this, that they've literally, like I say, picked up a church, put it on a lorry and driven it down the road. Great bit of engineering, very tech, very cool. But just something completely different. Like I said, I saw it earlier today and just thought, that's just mind-blowing. And it should all be done by this time tomorrow, I think.
That's really impressive. Well done, Sweden. That's some impressive technological chops you've got there. How do you pronounce this name, Chris?
Oh, I don't know. I'm the worst pronouncer. I have no idea.
There are a lot. Sophia I can do, but it's the next two words. There's a lot of accents over those characters, and I have no idea. Sophia Lagerlof Mata. I'll have mangled that, but
I'll bow to your superiority here. But no, it's a cool story. I'd recommend somebody watch the video. It's mind blowing.
I'm fascinated now. Not only is it a cool story, but the lady with the name I can't pronounce is a culture strategist, and that's a job title I've never heard of before.
It's quite a cool one.
If
somebody's going to have a culture strategist, it's going to be Sweden, though.
Fair play. I love Sweden. It's a great country.
Agreed.
Great fun there. Yep. Great people as well. I think we can call that a show, Chris.
Yeah, I think so. So if anyone wants to get in contact, Rod is at g5maniac@mastodon.scot. He's also on Blue Skyways at g5maniac.bsky.social. I'm on Mastodon and I am at _CGP at mastodon.social. Watch on YouTube by going to the website waitfromsleep.com and click on the YouTube link, or drop us an email waitfromsleep@protonmail.com.
Talk to you next week, Chris.
Cheers, Rod.